hello for people who may or may not be watching this live, and hopefully maybe people watching this in the archive, which again is YouTube. Which is I will drop here. Eh. So yeah, right there's the archive for people wanting to watch this later, or I don't know, people who do watch this later or might want to watch this later. There you go. So it's literally same account name, but over on YouTube. And again, if you are watching this archive, please watch it over there where it will actually mean maybe actually mean something, because Twitch doesn't care about people watching our older videos. That Twitch only cares about live views. Oh well. Anyway, hey. Uh, so yeah, let's see. We will be going into Orzammar today. It actually digging more into Orzammar, which I'm gonna just kind of come out and say it that Orzammar is kind of my favorite part of this game. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna. All right. So point. Problem is pointing my face at my mic, and the problem is that my mic. Well, sure. We'll maybe call that. Is this okay? Is this better? Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. Anywho, Orzammar, yeah, kind of one of my favorite. Looking back, it's probably one of my favorite. I think one of the best. This whole plot line is probably one of the best in the entire game. It actually does things that the rest of the game doesn't quite pull off, but we'll get into that when we get there. But real quick, I don't know. I feel like just it's been some got there's been some nice little things happening this week that have happened this week that just make me smile, and I feel like sharing them. And I'm sure if you're paying attention to some of the same places I pay attention to, you might have picked it up as well. So first off, and this might delay things a bit, but whatever. It's my stream. Who cares? So first up is that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, he managed, I think, after Disney kind of gave just the vague, gentlest possible pushback against some of his anti-gay, anti-trans, generally bigoted bills, legislation that he pushed through the Florida legislature. He managed. He sort of. He didn't. He wanted. It seemed like he wanted to take control of Disney's. Disney has a weird setup where they basically Disney World and that area around Disney World is kind of like its own little microstate, sort of. It's weird. But he kind of wanted to take that back for the state of Florida. That didn't quite go through because the state of Florida could not afford it, would not have been able to afford it. But he managed to get appoint a 5-man group of governors or something, to panel of governors, whatever, to oversee things. And everyone was, that's going to cause problems because now the fascist, let's be honest here, guy is now basically in charge of Disney World. That's not good. But apparently the folks at Disney managed to come up with a sort of solution, a way of just sort of basically telling Ron DeSantis to screw off. And it started with, and my understanding is that it basically limited the role of this board to like basically being in charge of like the infrastructure and whatnot. So like they're the people in charge of like making sure the potholes get filled and that kind of shit. They don't get to decide like programming. They don't get to decide anything that actually has to do with the park itself. That they're just the people who we complain to when like things aren't working right. and and on top of that, this is the really funny part. Um, there's the clause laying out like how long is this going to be in effect, and it said, I think it literally said like, okay, it will last until 21 years after the death of after the passing of the last surviving descendant of King Charles III of England that is currently living. Now, so basically, of all Charles III's kids and grandkids, clause will stay in effect until 21 years after all of those people, all of Charles III's currently living descendants, 21 years after the last one of them dies. The youngest, the youngest of Charles's grandchildren is not quite 2 years old. And assuming that, that they get the same, something approaching the same level of health care, these people get something approximating the same level of health care that the royal family is accustomed to, that could mean like possibly like well into the 22nd century before this stops being in effect. So that's hilarious. Second thing, this is maybe a little bigger. Donald Trump got indicted. Yay. Yeah, he got indicted for I think it was campaign finance violations. Basically like, yeah, it's not just the fact that you tried to it's not just the fact that you covered up you sleeping with a porn star while your wife was at home with your newborn son. That's one thing, and it's not even necessarily that you also paid her off and used a whole bunch of shell companies and whatnot to keep it to do it in secret and whatnot. The problem is that the money that either was used or was used to pay off Michael Cohen, who arranged the whole thing, came from campaign finance, was raised for your presidential campaign. I know it's really dumb and really stupid to be really happy that, this happened. But, it's one of the, of all the things that might actually help take him down and send that guy to prison where he belongs for, breaking all those doing all those law breaking stuff. It's that, it's like, why is it this thing that might take him down? Yeah, but, it has a very, Al Capone getting taken down for tax evasion thing. So, whatever works, honestly. But, so there were three things. So, number three, the third thing. I saw this only in passing on Twitter. So, the lady in Scotland, the woman in Scotland in the castle, Queen of the Turfs, Jowling Rowling herself. Apparently, And again, I have no. I haven't actually. So only saw this one time, but her company, whatever, may have seen, may have possibly seen a 75% drop in profits recently. So, and again, I know that it's like, okay, this makes me happy because while I am not a trans person, I support the trans community. And it's like, hey, wow, you've decided to be a bigot and you will not care, or you will at least not stop talking about this shit until it actually. Rowling and people like her, it's like, hey, wow, you is going to continue to spout her shit until such time as she, there are consequences for it. And this might be like the first actual consequences that, this might be like her actually facing some actual consequences for her shit. Like, no, no, you're not going to be put in prison. No, you're not. No, it's probably not going to, like, destroy her financially, but, it might hurt. And it's like, hey, at the very least, it will probably hurt. This is probably a sign of that her brand has been hurt. And, on top of that, it'll be like, people might businesses, studios, whatnot, might be a little more hesitant to pay her huge amounts of money to license out the one property she has that has any real value at this point. Let's be real here. I am not sure that book publishers will be all that bothered by it, but they might. Who knows? Honestly, I'm not entirely certain that her post Harry Potter stuff has ever actually sold all that well. But, who knows? Whatever. Her bank account may actually be taking a hit for her being a horrible, bigoted person. And that makes me happy. Anyway, now that I've hopefully spread a little bit of joy, that's what's got me feeling happy today. So let's get to Orzammar, where we'll get to experience dwarven politics. Yay. The bloody dwarven politics. Alright. I rambled for a little bit while there, didn't I? But hey. Orzammar, which is in turmoil. The throne stands empty, and the assembly is deadlocked, unable to decide between Prince Balin Aidukin and Lord Piril Harrowmont. She is tearing itself apart over the crown, and there seems to be no one willing or able to hear your plea for assistance. So, in other words, wow, it's just like every other place we've been to so far. We show up, and it turns out there's something wrong. Yay! Something wrong that we're gonna have to fix. Anyway, wall carving. The casts. Oh boy. Alright. Hello?
Maker's blessing on you, brother.
I didn't think dwarves believed in the Maker.
I'm Brother Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light.
Even in the very bowels of the earth, we hear no end of this chant.
And that is something to rejoice in, good sister. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar.
Don't dwarves worship their ancestors or something?
There is resistance.
Ah.
It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers.
Well, whose permission do you need to open a chantry?
The Shaperate controls changes in Orzammar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting.
The Shaper of Memories?
The Shaper of Memories controls the Shaperate, Orzammar's record system. Like the Chantry's historians, but more thorough. They track the births and lineage of every dwarf born in the city. Every property sale, death in battle, marriage, or divorce.
Wow. And where could I find this Shaper?
The Shaperette is in the prime tier of the city, near the royal estate. Does this mean you will help me then?
I'll speak with him, yes.
I can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always.
If this chantry could help just one person as much as it helped me, it's worth any trouble.
Please, let me know as soon as you've heard anything.
Yes, I know, it's... I mean, on the one hand, okay, that's the way to Dust Town.
I do not even want to think from what manner of substance a cave-dwelling people would create their spirits.
What? Fine. Do I go in there? I have no reason to go in there, so we're not. Oh. Interesting. Nug Wrangler.
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter.
Common nugs. I don't like those. They look dirty.
No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down.
These things dangerous?
Gotta boil them before roasting, but otherwise no, safe as sand. Some people swear they make good pets. May as well leash a turnip, I say.
If I see any nugs, I'll send them your way.
Good on you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Excuse me, do you have a moment?
Sure, why not? Hello?
You look like you're not from around here.
Yeah, you could say that.
Oh, wonderful. I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
The Circle of Magi.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
Why wouldn't they?
No dwarf has ever studied at the Circle of Magi. I guess you never read First Enchanter Caitlin's treatise concerning dwarfs and the non-heritability of magic. He tested dwarfs from 20 bloodlines and found they couldn't perform any level of spell casting, regardless of lyrium exposure or time on the surface. The Circle speculates that lyrium in the stone shields us from spiritual influences, and over time made us immune to them.
Okay, so what do you want with the Circle then?
I want to go to the Circle to study.
I assure you that desire will depart the moment you arrive.
I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
Yeah, sure, I can take your request to the circle.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcasts. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperium's Ferticum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child?
She's so enthusiastic and adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
Great, cool, okay. That'll come back at some point later on. Hello?
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's luxury goods shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying?
Have a look at my... Are you alright?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Most people don't anymore. Or maybe they're too polite to mention it. I had a little incident a few years back. Too much time with the raw lyrium ore, you know. Maybe it was a bad vein. I cut myself and the dust got straight in the blood. Since then, it's been a little hard for me to concentrate. Except when forging. Then I'm straight as an arrow. Best work you've ever seen. Look around the shop. See for yourself.
Are dwarves immune to lyrium effects?
Of course we are. Weak surfacers like you touch the raw ore, and you'll bleed from your eyeballs in hours. Weird seeing how big you are. Even surface dwarves lose it.
Right.
Us down here, though, we should be able to handle it just fine. Only not too much, and not every day, and not breathing the dust, and not direct in the blood. Ancestors' own bad luck.
Ah. Sure, let me see what you got.
Best in the trade, you know. I work the ore myself.
Unfortunately, I've sold a bunch of my stuff. Sure, we'll sell that. I'm gonna hold on to the heavy chainmail set. Do I have heavy plate? Ooh. I really should have gone by, should have headed to... Right. Oh, that looks really nice. Oh, ooh. Pick up those things. And you don't have anything. Anyway. That's up to the diamond quarter and over here.
Hey, what's down there?
That's a nug, huh? Angle nugget box ready for delivery to Orzammar. Found a nug. I'll be very pleased to see it. Unlikely scholar. And the deeps. Nugs! So screams deafen their ears. We will be a nug poop. Song that only nugs can hear by Paragon Ebrian. Nugs, an omnivore, come to the deep roads, a hairless creature, almost blind as well as completely docile. Spends most of its time wading in shallow pools as well as mud pits, feeding on small insects, worms, and, in a pinch, limestone and simple metals. Indeed, the digestive system of the Nug is legendary, able to make a meal out of almost anything a Nug finds on the cavern floors. Nugs reproduce rapidly, spreading into any niche within the deep roads they can find and serve to support a variety of predators, such as giant spiders and deep stalkers. So too do dwarves make meals of them. Nugs are, in the poorer slum portions of Orzammar, one of the most common sources of meat available. Some dwarves even domesticate the creatures, claiming to find the creatures' high-pitched squeaks pleasing. Cool. Box O Nugs. Right. Not going that way.
Go on, I'm out of the Nug game. Got nothing to sell.
I got a Nug for you. Here.
Saraka, I'm back in the game, such as it is. I don't have much besides gratitude, but find a bunch more of these and I'll toss you whatever I found.
Oh ho. In that case... Alright.
And I'm off.
Let's head up to the Diamond Quarter. See what there is to be seen.
You have come at a difficult time. Orzammar is ailing for want of a king.
Cool.
Grey Warden arrives in Orzammar, undoubtedly to offer assistance to Lord Harrowmont.
Okay. Hello. Sure, I'll grab that. Why not? Blup.
Lord Balin's impending marriage to a castless proves his dedication to change. No dwarf is without worth, he has been heard to say.
Interesting.
Going.
As Aeducan, Shield of Orzammar.
I hope you'll support Lord Harrowmont.
Well, we'll see. Hello?
This has dragged on too long. It's an insult to King Endrin's memory.
Right.
Even I could shatter from this height, surely.
Here's the shaper, it. Let's see what's it going on in here. Convenient that they made all these buildings tall enough for everybody. Oh boy, there's a number of people in here.
Thief! Who would dare take from the memories?
Hello?
Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperate. What have we been reduced to?
How did you know what? Did you get a good look at them?
I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine. He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dust Town. They couldn't know the value.
Okay. Hey, right.
Are you with that warrior girl who's always here?
No. Book. Legion of Steel. Ooh, what's this? Paragon Caridin vanished in the 11th year of the reign of King Valtor, and with the Paragon, the entire process of golem manufacture was lost. Expeditions were sent into the deep roads to track him, but the Darkspawn drove them all back. Finally, in the second year of the reign of Queen Getha, 126 golems, whatever, the entire Legion of Steel were sent to recover the Paragon. None returned. The Shaper of Golems refused to support any further attempts to find Caridin, and the Paragon was officially declared dead. The Shaper never recovered from the loss of an entire legion of golems, and never again allowed an all-golem regiment in the deep roads. Stone Halls of the Dwarves by Brother Denativi. How did he... Never mind. Hello?
Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research.
What kind of research?
I was looking for something about the Orton Tig. It was lost during the last Blight, and there aren't many records left. They were a noble house once, descended from the Paragon Orton, who composed the grand epic of the Seven Brothers and the Ortonic Symphony. My mother's family believes they were descended from Kalana Orton, who was training in Orzammar when the Tig fell. I'm even named for the house, Orta. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads.
Well, I'm a Grey Warden. I'm not afraid of the deep roads.
A Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens.
Yeah.
I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harrowmont have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking. It's almost too much to hope.
Hi, we'll get to you in a minute. Hello?
Shh. I'm doing very important work.
Okay. Hello?
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories.
How do you know who I am?
The Grey Warden's visit has been recorded in the memories, along with all who accompany you.
Tell me about Orzammar.
Ask, and I shall do my best to answer.
Cool. Alright, what's the difference between an ancestor and a paragon, real quick?
All dwarves who die return to the stone as ancestors, to guide their families forever. But only one every few generations rises to paragon. A paragon is a dwarf whose accomplishments change Orzammar so much that the Assembly recognizes they've been born blessed. They are venerated as living ancestors and found a new noble house forever bearing their name.
Are there any paragons in Orzammar now?
There is one paragon of this generation, a woman named Branka. She was born a smith, but her inventions caught the Assembly's eye. Before she had seen 20 years, she created a smokeless coal. It could burn in a cave without vents and no one would choke from it. It earned her paragon status.
Where is she now?
She went into the deep roads 2 years ago seeking out secrets of the ancient smiths. She never returned.
So, tell me about Orzammar's history.
We were a great empire once, outnumbering even humans and elves. We traded with your Tevinter Imperium, and our land stretched as far in the deep roads as theirs did above. Kal Sharok was capital then, but we lost too many battles. We lost our golems, and we lost our territory. Now the Empire is simply ruined tunnels filled with darkspawn.
How'd you lose your golems?
The Paragon Caridin, a smith of unsurpassed genius, invented the golems. For years they were our weapon against the darkspawn. One golem is worth a dozen dwarves in battle, but Caridin's Tig is far into the deep roads. When it fell, we lost his secret to creating golems. There are books about it along these walls if you would read more.
Golems like this one?
Yes. We have only a few dozen left in Orzammar, and I do not recognize this one.
Yeah.
Where did you find it? Every golem is precious to us. We'd pay a good sum for a new find.
I'd sooner jump into a pit of lava.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? I must tell the rest of the Shaperate about this discovery.
Yeah, cool. Where is Kal Sharok?
At the other side of the old empire. During the last blight, the kings of Orzammar knew they couldn't hold everything. They sealed the deep roads, abandoning everyone still trapped in far-flung settlements. Oof. It was the only way to survive. Kal Sharok is the only other city to outlast the blight.
Huh.
We only rediscovered them recently, and they still haven't forgiven us.
Let's get back.
I will settle your mind if I can, Warden. Please, speak your mind.
Well, I'd like permission to open a chantry here.
That is an odd request, especially for one so new to our city.
Come on behalf of Brother Burkle, Cleric of Redcliffe.
I thought so. This is not the first time he's made this plea. My answer to Brother Burkle hasn't changed. So I ask you the same. On what basis would you have me insult the ancestors and overturn 2,000 years of tradition?
Chantry's charities could greatly aid Orzammar. What harm could it do to let him preach? I'd rather wait for a human army to convert you. We'll be smart about this. Sure. Chantry's charities could greatly aid Orzammar.
What sort of charities do you mean?
Chantry cares for widows and orphans?
Traditionally, that is their extended family's responsibility, but sometimes people fall through the cracks. Very well, he may hold a prayer meeting as he requested, if not build a new temple to his god. At least the words would come from one of our own.
There you go.
Now, is there anything more?
No, that's good.
I will record this conversation in the memories. I hope I do not come to regret it.
Cool. Shapers granted Brother Burkle his permission to start a small chantry in Orzammar. Brother Burkle will be quite happy to hear this. Yay. Well. He'll be happy, sort of.
I hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh well. Anyway, library. Oh, cataloger. Never mind. Books.
Yes.
Book. The Deep Roads. Right. Giant underground highways and whatnot. We'll be seeing them soon. Soon enough. Soon enough. What's this? Praise in praise of the humble Nug. Oh, jeez. I once served a human some nug, and he proclaimed that it was like eating an unholy union of pork and hare. The idea disturbed him so much that he declined to finish his serving and made himself content with some stale bread. Of course, this only goes to show that surfacers, human or otherwise, have tragically unrefined palates. The nug is surely the most delicious animal I have ever tasted. Only a dead man would not salivate at the thought of a tender morsel of roast nug melting in his mouth. The Paragon Baron, although his house has fallen, shall always be remembered for discovering the wonders of nug flesh. Admittedly, it was discovered only out of desperation when he was separated from his legion and lost in the deep roads for a week, but we won't hold that against the good Paragon. While nug pancakes and nuggets, my own children love these, are the nug dishes of one encounters most often, nug can be prepared in other interesting and elegant ways. The late King Ansgar Iduken adored nug seared on a hot metal plate and finished in the oven and dressed in a cream sauce flavored with deep mushrooms. You must be careful when using the mushrooms from the deep roads because they often grow close to darkspawn bodies. They say this is what gives them their unique flavor and intoxicating scent, but it also means that consuming too many of them may result in curious afflictions of the mind. Sure. Okay. Big book. What's this one? Orzammar politics. Wow, okay. Dangerous as it is to mistake a dwarf's caste, it's far more deadly to mistake his alliances among the noble houses of Orzammar. Everyone in the city is allied with someone else, whether by blood or by word. Nobles don't engage directly in commerce themselves, as that's the domain of the merchant caste, but they do serve as patrons. They invest in shops or artisans' work and in turn reap Okay. Book. Legion of the Dead. Yes, Stone's greetings, friend. You will fight ceaselessly in the Legion of the Dead. The Legion accepts all. So I was told by one of the legionnaires himself, a dwarf who waited quietly at the entrance to the deep roads for the rest of his unit to assemble. They gathered slowly, each equipped with heavy armor and fine weapons, each painted with grim tattoos applied to at their funerals the night previous. For that is the nature of the Legion. They're all dead. Any dwarf may join the Legion so long as he is willing to give up everything he has. The funeral rites are somber. The final goodbye is said to family and loved ones. Any material goods are dispersed to heirs, and the last words are said, and then it is done. The new legionnaire marches out into the deep roads, never to return. The Legion fights against the Darkspawn to the last, striking one final blow against the monsters that have claimed so much of their homeland. Many join the Legion to clear the slate. Criminals join to avoid punishment. The dishonored join so that their houses and families need not suffer on their behalf. The bankrupted join so their debts might be forgiven. A very few join for a last chance at glory, but the Legion takes them too. This group hopes to reach the fabled fortress of Orzammar, once the Legion's home, associated with the greatest of their paragons. Orzammar is a holy place. It's lost the last great blow against the dwarven kingdoms, and its recapture would be a glorious signal to all of Orzammar. But capture it or not, all those warriors will die in the deep roads. It's a sobering thought, and I now know why the dwarves say the Legion's charge is the battlefield's most frightening sight. They have nothing left to lose. Stonehall's the dwarves, my brother Genetivi. Genetivi sure gets around. Hello? Dwarven Faith. Chant of Light's almost never heard in the halls of Orzammar. It's hardly surprising, for unlike elves, who were literally abandoned by their gods, or Tevinters, who worship dragons, the dwarves have no gods at all. Even the concept of worship is foreign in Orzammar. Instead, dwarves seem to venerate the stone, a name they give to the earth itself. Seems practical for people living underground, if perhaps a bit unimaginative. For guidance in spiritual matters, they turn to their ancestors. These ancestors, who are said to have returned to the stone, communicate their wishes to the living by brutal trials by combat called provings. The ancestors' collective wisdom is maintained by the Shaper, which can apparently store records in the Lyrium itself. Set above the ancestors, above even kings, are the paragons, dwarves who have achieved such greatness. They are elevated almost to godhood. These are the great figures holding up the hallways that lead The hallway that leads from the surface, the first glimpse of Orzammar that outsiders see. Blessing of the Shaper is given only to those who walk with the stone. It is a path that cuts deep, and the road is far from secure. But those who desire to work in memory must first honor it, document the stone, protect her, and present new history to the memories. Only then will the blessing of the Shaper be upon you. Nug sits in the mug, Nug wiggles his ears. You catch the Nug, he slips away. Nug gets to live another day. Nug sits in the mud, Nug wiggles his toes. You hook the Nug, he slips away. Now the Nug runs off to play. Nug sits in the mud, Nug wiggles his nose. Oh, hello. Oh. Begone, bot. You tickle the Nug, he laughs away. Now the Nug it's on my plate. Nug pancakes, well-loved dwarven nursery rhyme. I assume it sounds better in the original Dwarvish.
Of course.
Chest.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yoink. All right.
And I'm off.
Armor and boots of diligence. Bonus to willpower. Okay, cool. So I have the armor. I have the gloves. I do not have the boots. How am I to find the boots? Alright. Alright, we've been goofing off long enough. Let's jump in here. Hello.
Warden, welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Devorn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring?
Yeah, I need aid against the blight.
Yes,
Blights.
the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now, the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now.
This is more important than politics.
No one wishes this fight over more than Balin.
Right.
But while it rages, Orzammar can spare no one to combat what may or may not be a new blight.
Trust me, there is a blight.
I believe you. But what are we to do? If Balin followed his heart and sent his men to aid you, Harrowmont would steal his throne. We would defeat the blight and return to find our homeland devastated by an incompetent tyrant.
If you don't put... So how do I convince you to help?
There might be a way. If you demonstrate to Balin that you owe Harrowmont no fealty. Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception, I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude.
I'll think about it.
Don't expect this offer to last.
Ooh.
If my prince hears you swore allegiance to his enemy, he won't be so friendly next time. I will be here if you change your mind.
Decide if you help Prince Balin's cause and inform Vartag of your intent. Balin won't give you an audience until you prove yourself trustworthy. Vartag Gavorn has asked that you show Lord Helmy and Lady Dace promissory notes as evidence of Harrowmont's cheating ways. Vartag says Dace can be found in tapsters in the Commons, while Lord Helmy seldom leaves the Diamond Quarter. Vartag waits your decision.
The Assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
Sure.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Cool. What was that? So the steward attempt to address assembly, but they're deaf. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Hey.
Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the Assembly of the Clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in.
I'm a Grey Warden. I'm wearing the armor. Come on.
Forgive me. I am so exhausted.
Fair enough.
I completely forgot about the message from the gate guard. Welcome to Orzammar, Warden. I hope you can forgive our unrest. The loss of our king has hit us hard. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne.
Is there any way to break this stalemate?
I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. Dulin Ferender, Harrowmont's man, can be found at the Harrowmont estate. Vartag Gavorn, Prince Balin's second, is often here in the Assembly. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
Hello?
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Ferender, second to Lord Harrowmont, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight.
Yeah.
It is shameful we are not in a better position to help.
I'd speak to Lord Harrowmont.
In an ordinary time, Lord Harrowmont would be honored to meet you. Unfortunately, we've already caught more than one of Balin's spies approaching Harrowmont under a pretense of friendship. So I'm afraid I won't be able to take your word. If you want to speak to Harrowmont, you will need to prove he can trust you.
How can I prove I'm not working for Balin?
That's a generous offer. If you mean it, you might attend the proving today. The Deshers take it very seriously. And unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down.
You want me to find out why your people dropped out?
That would be enlightening. Though I hope you won't pry too deeply into things they don't wish revealed. If you wish to show your loyalty, enter the proving as his lordship's champion. With your order's reputation, I've no doubt the ancestors would favor your arm. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then.
I don't want to start picking sides in this.
Then I'm afraid your only choice is to wait until there's a winner. Lord Harrowmont cannot risk his life working with someone of unproven loyalties. If you change your mind, let me know. The proving is this afternoon, and Lord Harrowmont could certainly use you on his side.
The friender wants you to fight the provings in Harrowmont's name. Speak to Doolin when you're ready to do what he asked.
Lord Balin is the voice of change and defense. Lord Harrowmont is the voice of stagnation and ruin.
News of the hour. Is Lord Balin considering a dissolution of the ancient clans? He refuses to comment in the assembly.
Ooh. Hello. Oh! Sweet. Level up. While your concerns have merit, the Assembly has made itself clear. Space within the Tig is at a premium, but the intended function of the hall merits the additional resources committed. The statues of the paragons must be... wait, okay. Here we go. It is agreed that no rules of procedure were explicitly broken, but a 5-day filibuster is nonetheless worthy of censure. Division of House Gorosmo property was deliberated for a full session, and forfeiture of the southern estate deemed a necessity. Since the birth of young Kaid necessitates his elevation to noble status, and it's unthinkable for a noble's family to live in the slums, it's responsibility of the father to accommodate the placement of his family. It is not possible to simply generate new space in the Diamond Quarter without compromising Tig structural integrity. Lord Dace's comment that, quote, if Lord Gorosmote didn't want a new heir, he shouldn't have slummed for a concubine, was indeed inappropriate, but the proper procedure for resolution through proving was followed. Both parties agreed to accept his retraction, and this matter is considered separate and closed. The decision of the Assembly regarding the placement of the Duncoat clan stands. Rid of Assembly Zoning Council regarding placement of the Duncoat clan. I love it. Zoning laws. Oy. Ah. I think, yeah. Take anti-magic. I think. I still can't. 38. Oh, but I can wear Kalen's armor. Well, some of his armor. it's better. It's a little better than what I've got, but I like the. Ay. Oh, hey, look, another nug.
Yes, Warden. What is it? Yes, you should.
Oh, you're not helpful at all. Oh, right.
Andraste teaches that patience is the child of wisdom, but I'm eager to hear if you've seen the Shaper.
He agreed to let you hold a prayer meetings, yes.
Oh, praise the Maker! You truly walk in the light, friend. I already found a convert among the merchants who offered his shop as a temporary chantry. It's just by the tapsters.
Nice.
Please, come to our first service.
I'll keep that in mind, perhaps, maybe. Oh. What the heck? Let's head into Tapsters. I have yet to be.
Ugh, just do not buy anything, or touch anything, or sit anywhere.
So you're a Grey Warden. You think I'm impressed?
Poor dwarves get in a fight spot every time they drink.
Unahara dwarvaga shed visarva sinatag. In dwarven vavaraga sinavaga pelnathag. And in the risa saradurva hatin wimedwal. Nasunkala novrug and premala novam. Arhandeka paragan veram this year or am desi. And dinna vreka and sordans netek parags gor helvaring. Parstak dis a parva gor da jebindar dek tavirradik. Gor da shebna gor ham raksa paragan veram gatrig.
Impressive.
Afternoon, stranger. You looking for a stool to share a brew?
Sure.
I recommend the Lycan Ale. They brew it downstairs. Name's Naveen. I fight with Prince Balin's expeditionary field unit. Yourself?
I'm a Grey Warden.
Figured as much. Good folks, wardens. I was in the deep roads when that one came by. What was his name? Dukan, Dunka, something like that.
Duncan?
I met him, sure. Good man. Solid. He knows what we go through in the deep roads. Not many do. Not even the ones who live this close. You have to be on the front lines.
So you work for Balin?
I go where I'm sent, fight when I'm there, and leave politics where it belongs.
So who's your unit fighting?
Darkspawn. Not much use in turning our weapons elsewhere while those vermin still live.
Point. I've never been in the deep roads myself.
Every Grey Warden ends up there. That's where they send you when you're ready to leave this world. Go die in the dark, putting away as many vermin as you can. Getting more crowded these days, though. Lots of people interested all of a sudden. We go back tomorrow, and we're not the only ones.
We're sending you out.
Balin ordered us in at first bell. He's splitting us into 4 teams to search for some of the lost Tigers. Looking for signs of Bronca, I guess. Seems to be who everyone's after.
Who else is in the deep roads?
Lord Harrowmont's got his own men there, all looking for signs of Bronca. Guess the city's getting to miss having a paragon. Everyone wants someone to put in charge. Balin ordered us in at first bell. He's looking for signs of Bronca, I guess. Seems to be who everyone's after.
Thanks for the drink, but I should get
Watch yourself. Orzammar politics are getting near as dangerous as battle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's the...
Told him I don't understand why the provings aren't open to everyone. I mean, it's how the ancestors show their favor. Do they really need our help to decide who's worthy? And then he practically slapped me.
They're everywhere! I can't take it!
Huh?
What? Get away! You'll change like the rest! Monsters hidden in all my friends!
What are you talking about?
They follow you. Once you are in the story, they possess your friends and follow. See? I found copies. All from the same pen, and older than the ones in song. Dormant my ass! Take them! I want out! I won't disappear chasing a lie! I won't!
Something is working behind the scenes in Ferelden. Notes you've acquired from dead or terrified adventurers point to an ancient evil, or at least an ancient man telling stories of ancient evil. You've cause to speak with Wilhelm Maiden, who lives somewhere in Denerim. Riders follow after every town ever since my lucky break deciphering the story. I see it now. They take the locals closest to me, preventing rest or kinship. I thought this a road to glory, but I'm dogged at every step by his talons. Gaxcag cursed his name in the day I heard it. Yes, so I'm telling, don't go. The stories talk of the riches, never the names, never where they supposedly spent their wealth. I heard the same tales as a lad in Denerim, felt the same pull, but it's a lie, son. They may paint a trail, but once you're on it, does it lead to the beast or back to you? Here are the parchments, 3 versions of the same incomplete story. Quote, and when his kingdom fell, so disappeared the stolen riches of an age, the beast, the unbound, dormant until one of true spirit claims his throne. So must hunt the hero of his people, the principled who would search for ancient evil. This is how they can make a real difference. Scribbled in the corner of a shaky hand. 3 pages, 3 ages, same story updated. Same as a tavern song, but older. Signature torn out on purpose, but compare and get Wilhelm Maiden. All from him. How? Oh boy. See, I don't want to pick a side yet.
And I'm off.
Anyway.
You're the best wrangler I've ever seen. But there's more out there. You're the best wrangler I've ever seen, but there's more out there. You're the best wrangler I've ever seen, but there's more out there. I trust Vala, my nug-wrangling friend.
So apparently there's some more nugs out somewhere.
I may have a cause to apologize to the sister.
Apologize? For what?
For suggesting that the sister was gullible for believing in things which were not real.
Oh, that! I'd already forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me.
I suppose it would offer some comfort to believe that things occur according to some grand purpose. All those years I spent in Honleaf, unable to move, it would be comforting to think there was some reason for it.
Do you know there wasn't? Perhaps the Maker did it to bring you here, to us. You once said that you had no purpose. Perhaps you are simply looking for it in the wrong place.
Perhaps. I shall think on this.
Interesting. Over in propriety. Up, hello. Oh. Clear space tags at a premium. Pursuant to order 5LA, no dwarf of indeterminate caste may conduct business in the Commons. This was subsequently clarified by the Assembly to mean that the owning and operating of stalls or kiosks is limited to those of identified and approved house names with traceable ancestor lineage of at least 3 generations. Exceptions include individual purchasers of goods or services from established stalls or kiosks, provided the funds are presented at the opening of the transaction at the discretion of the stall or kiosk owner. I'm sure you understand the need to maintain strict quality control over all goods and services that flow through Orzammar, especially when we're making a concerted effort to encourage outside investment. The standards of Dust Town and that of the Common brand are simply not sufficient. Your trade permit is hereby denied. Ooh. Judge Assembly Trade Council regarding Midal's reclaimed wares. Ooh. There's a reason I'm supposed to be able to go in there at some point.
You're the best wrangler I've ever seen, but there's more out there.
Oh my god, how many nugs did you buy? Yes, let's head down to Dust Town real quick. Take a tour of the place, of all of Orzammar. Get a feel for it before deciding which side to take.
I think I just stepped in something.
Possibly, yes. Oh! There's a rich one will get plenty for their kid once. Oh, hell.
Yes, a rich one will get plenty for their kids. Oh, look at what
Here.
Right.
Cool. Oh, the cast list. Hello. Cast system. Hold up. Oh, where's... Okay, the cast. Visitors to Orzammar should keep in mind the hierarchies of dwarven society are much more complex than our own. It's easy to gravely insult a man simply by mistaking his position. Since this can lead to unnecessary loss of life and limb, I'll attempt to mitigate the danger of my fellow travelers. Society of Orzammar is divided into nobles, warriors, smiths, artisans, miners, merchants, and servants. Now you're undoubtedly saying to yourself, well, we have all those divisions among our own people. This is a dangerous misconception. Certainly we do have nobility, artisans, merchants, and these positions are largely inherited from our parents. However, the younger children of noblemen often choose to be artisans or soldiers. The sons of merchants may join the army or become servants, or apprentice themselves to craftsmen. This is all freely chosen, limited perhaps by the circumstances of birth, but still chosen. What is a matter of choice for most human folk is dictated entirely by birth for dwarves. No one may become a smith who is not born to smith caste parents. A servant who marries a nobleman will never be a noble himself, and although his daughters would be nobles, his sons would be servants, for daughters inherit the caste of their mother, while sons inherit the caste of their father. That would really suck. Caste list. Caste system in Orzammar includes many groups of privilege, the nobility and the warriors above all others, but to a lesser degree the merchants and the smiths and the miners. Tradition establishes a clear hierarchy, but as in any culture with an upper class, there is also a clear underclass. These unfortunates, the so-called casteless, are believed to be descendants of criminals and other undesirables. They've been looked down upon since Orzammar's foundation. They have taken up residence in a place called Dust Town, a crumbling ruin on the fringe of Orzammar's common areas. Orzammar society considers casteless lower than even the servant caste. Indeed, the casteless are not allowed to become servants, as it is too honorable a position. They're seen as little better than animals, their faces branded at birth to mark them as the bastard children of the kingdom. Their home district, little more than a slum, is a haven for crime, organized and otherwise. Orzammar's guards seemingly cannot be bothered to patrol its streets. The best the most casteless dwarves can hope for is a life at the whim of a local crime lord, ended abruptly by violence or an overabundance of toxic lichen ale. Even so, there's some hope for the casteless as a dangling rope that offers a way up into greater Orzammar society. Since the dwarf's caste is determined by the parent of the same sex, the male child of a nobleman is part of that noble's house and caste. Strangely, it is acceptable for casteless women to train in the arts of courtly romance to woo nobles and warriors. They're known as noble hunters. Any male born from such a union is considered a joyous event, considering the low rate of dwarf infertility. The mother and entire family are then taken in by the father's house, though they retain their caste. The dwarves we know on the surface are also considered casteless once they leave Orzammar, although this is only relevant to those who return, if they are allowed to return at all. Dwarves who leave for the surface, the sun-touched as they're often called behind their backs, lose their connection to the stone and the favor of the ancestors, and thus are worthy of little more than pity, for upon dying they are said to be lost to the stone forever, but never put that way, it seems a sad existence indeed. Right. Anyway. Dust Town. Hey?
Who are you? You don't look like any guardsman I ever saw, and that's not much of a uniform.
Dameron, a Grey Warden.
Oh, you looking for a chance to bring in some coin? Could be I have that opportunity, especially for someone with a few connections above ground.
We have to hear what you're asking first.
No offense, but your kings have some laws that don't make sense in a practical kind of world. Like about who gets to buy and sell lyrium, the sacred gift the stone provides us to show her love. No law should regulate that. The laws are meant to keep mages away from the stuff, so there's always buyers in the Circle Tower. I got one man named Godwin. He's expecting a delivery of a stone's weight. You want an investment opportunity? I could see fit to, say, sell you that lyrium instead, at the reasonable price of 50 sovereigns. You can keep it, or, since you can travel freely from here, sell it to Godwin, who you know is buying. And if you bring back his return order, I could pay you, say, 20 sovereigns as a finder's fee.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't think so. Boys!
Yeah, alright. I didn't have the money anyway, so...
Huh.
I have something for you.
That sounds kind of vague.
'Tis a ring. Now, before you get any foolish notions, let me explain. Flemeth once gave me the ring because it allowed her to find me no matter where I went, in case I was ever captured by hunters. I disabled its power as soon as we left the wilds. Recently, however, I thought to change it.
Oh.
Now, I will be able to find whoever wears it instead.
So you'd always know where so you would always know where I am.
It is not to track you, you understand. I believe you are too important to risk. If you were to get captured, however, it would be far easier to find you with this.
So you're giving it to me purely out of practicality.
I have no desire to see us part company so soon. Not unless we wish to, that is. Do not read more into it than is there. You have supplied me with equipment. Certainly this is not so very different, is it?
I'm glad to see you care.
Now you are mocking me. Do you wish the ring or not? I am tempted to simply keep it.
Thank you for the gift.
You are welcome. Perhaps it will be useful someday.
I didn't even intend to do that. But, hey, Morrigan's ring. Which one's... There. I meant to click the body. Hey, I got money.
What do you want, Warden? You're out of your element down here.
What makes you think I'm looking for something?
I'm no fool. Nobody just wanders around in Dust Town.
Fair enough.
You're here looking for me, and I don't like it. You've walked into a sodding fight, Warden, and I've already passed your stupid tome along. Too bad for you.
Another battle!
Waste of time.
Hello? Thief didn't have the stolen tome. The receipt on his body suggests he may have passed it to someone in the proving grounds.
Your clothes are so fancy. Did you get them topside?
Yes, actually.
My mam used to say they don't got no stone to protect them topside. If I go up there, I'm gonna fall into the sky.
Just have to hold on real tight with your feet.
Yes. When my dad left, he never came back. Who's to say he didn't fall up, eh?
Yeah.
Don't fall into the sky when you go back up there.
Well, look at that. It's not often old Nadezda sees a fine-dressed stranger here in Dust Town. Help a poor cripple.
Here's 5 silvers. Buy yourself some food.
Well, thank you truly, my lord. That's right good of you. It takes a stranger to notice how bad things are, huh? No dwarf would lift a sodding finger. Excuse my language. What takes you out of the diamond quarters, stranger? You got a vice you're looking for old Nadezda to fill?
Not really. How did you get crippled, I guess, sure.
I'd say it was an accident, try to get some sympathy coin. But you look like you'd rather hear the truth.
Yeah.
I was running protection for the Carta when some guardsmen caught me. Duster I was with had coin for a bribe, but I took a stand. Guardsmen broke my sodding kneecaps and had me kneel in dung until the infection set in. Never healed proper.
What's a Carta?
Well, now I know you're not from here. The Carta's who runs Dust Town. Jarvia's got her boys everywhere. They tell you, and you jump, because they're the only ones with the coin and the steel to get whatever they want.
Tell me more about Dust Town.
It's pretty much as you see it. The raw stone where the casteless live, because we're not welcome elsewhere. You're born to wear a branded face in Orzammar, and you'll live your life in Dust Town.
What do you mean by brand?
Means you don't exist. It tells everyone who sees you not to work with you, not to serve you, and not to care if you're hurt. The Deep Lords burn it into us the day we're born, so no one accidentally oversteps her place.
So where's body go to get drunk around here?
If you have that kind of coin, Salroka, you don't want to drink what they've got here.
Fair enough.
Take yourself up to Tapster's. Long as your face isn't branded, they've got anything you want.
I'll be going then.
I'll just stay out of your way then.
Suspicious door.
Spare a bit for the needy? Please. It's not for me, it's for my child. Have you a coin to spare, my lord? It's for my son. He's sick. He hasn't any clean clothes to wear or anything to eat today. Neither have I.
Where's your son's father?
A question I ask every day. He was eager enough for a daughter who would bring him into the mining caste. But since the boy was born, I've not seen nose or heel of the lout. And me alone on the street, forbidden to return to my family unless I... But no! I can't bear to even think of it!
What your family wants you to do?
My son's father is casteless, as is he. I used to be a miner, but my parents stripped my caste and refused to accept me back. Unless I agree to abandon the child in the deep roads and pretend I never bore him.
Maybe I can talk to your family, maybe reason with them.
You would do that? But why?
Orzammar needs I don't like to see a child suffer. Orzammar must change with the times. Yeah.
Then I cannot offer enough gratitude. But I warn you, my father is a stiff-necked man. His name is Ordell, and he's usually at Tapster's in the evening.
Okay.
I do not think he will listen to you. But I will wait anxiously to see if you can do what you promise.
Pursuant to agreed no rules were explicitly broken. Your efforts have been exemplary, but these self-proclaimed cartels must defer to the Assembly and restore order. Exclusion from caste and society is no excuse. Perhaps suggest that it would be a simple matter to march on the corridor, or simpler still to withdraw infrastructure support. A tunnel breach would be most unfortunate, but current policy direction prohibits any deals that would legitimize cartel operations. Downward pressure on certain elements of our society has proven useful in shoring up the economy with an excess of affordable labor. It also encourages enlistment in the Legion of the Dead, the one accepted path to partial redemption and a vital force on our weakening front lines. This model suffers when criminals create their own hierarchies with affirmative methods for social advancement. Every stone has a face that can't be carved, a side that must be earthward. We need their so-called dust town, but it would be inadvisable to include that in our negotiations. We have the utmost faith in you, Count. The rest is obscured by bloodstains. Ouch. Alright.
What are you looking for? We got nothing to buy for the likes of you. Or maybe you wanted to sell.
Sounds exactly look like a store.
Well, our business is kind of covert, if you know what I mean. It's illegal in Orzammar for me to engage in protected trade, but they look the other way if I share things with my friends. For money.
I have some spare equipment. What'll you give me?
Why don't you take a look?
Let's see. Sell that. Armor. Ooh. Grab that. Poison recipes. Constant distillation. And all of that I can get. Alright then.
Going.
There's somewhere down here where I can buy a nug. I know that for sure.
Yes? Why is someone like you hanging about Dusttown so much? Don't fall into the sky when you go back up there.
Damn it. Thought there was a guy I could... There's supposed to be a guy I can buy a nug from.
Yes.
Alright, let's head to Tapsters and hopefully get this quest resolved at least. Ordell.
What are you looking at, stranger?
You Ordell?
I could be. What business is it of yours?
I met your daughter.
I have no daughter. Could be you met a castless whore claiming she was once mine.
If you don't take her back, she'll die.
What? You think she'd die just to keep that thing? She knows what she has to do to come home. I never wanted her gone.
Just the little cur. Can't she see she'd have a better life if she got rid of it?
Well, could you pretend your child never existed?
I've been trying. It's not as easy as I thought.
Look, just tell her... We never meant to hurt her. It just seemed best that...
Oh, just tell her to come home. Her mother and I are waiting for her.
There you go. It's not so hard, that wasn't so hard, was it? Admittedly, it might have been the smuggler who I killed that'll sell me nugs. Or it could be this guy, but he won't talk to me.
You're back. I thought you weren't coming. What did he say?
Father wants you to come home. Both to come home.
Both of us? I don't believe he said that. I've never heard him refer to my son as anything but trash. He calls him it. But maybe Mother convinced him. Or you did. Oh, my friend. I cannot thank you enough. If this were a story, my son would grow to manhood and pledge himself as a knight in your service. When he grows up, I will send him to you. I promise.
I mean, maybe don't do that, because, you know, you're... fine. See, this feels weird, just walking in here.
You're back? But it takes 2 weeks and 4 days minimum to make the journey to the Circle Tower. I'm guessing you haven't left yet.
Probably not leaving Orzammar until this election is resolved, and sad, so...
Well, I've waited 19 years. Another month won't kill me.
Month? Oy.
Going.
Ha. Oh, hello.
A Trust Valar, stranger. Here for armor or conversation?
You have a daughter named Dagna, right? Yeah.
Aye. Has she been bothering you? Gets a whiff of surface stink and she's like a cave tick. Won't let go.
No, she hasn't been she hasn't bothered.
Oh, good. Well, let me know if she does trouble you any.
I kind of want to help. I want to help her study with the mages.
Do you even know what that means? If Dagna goes to the surface, she forfeits her caste. She'll never be able to marry or work in Orzammar again. Dwarves don't do magic. Dagna knows that. It's just a childhood fantasy that dies hard. Please, if you see her, send her back and let me talk some sense into her. Please, don't encourage Dagna further. Tell her you were wrong and that her place is with her family.
So you're part of the Smith caste, eh?
Aye, for 100 generations. My father made his name by inventing a fall and tacet, which were integrated into the cuirass. But, I'm guessing by your face you're not a smith yourself.
No, I'm not. Wasn't Paragon Braca a smith?
That she was. The best to walk these tunnels since Carradine himself. Threw it away, chasing old dreams, though.
Carradine?
The best smith who ever lived, bar none. He gave us the secret of forging golems that could walk, talk, and defend our borders. When we had them, no dwarf had to risk himself against the Darkspawn. It was a golden age for the smith caste. His work was lost centuries ago when his tide fell to the Darkspawn. No one even knows where it is anymore.
So what does it, you mean that Braca threw it all away?
Didn't last 6 months as a noble before she set into the deep roads looking for ancient secrets. Now she's dead in the tunnels. All that brilliance, wasted.
So let me see what you got.
Of course. Keep in mind, we also take items on trade.
Right.
What have you there? A mirror?
Ooh.
It is just the same as the mirror which Flemeth smashed on the ground so long ago.
Oh.
It is incredible that you found one so like it. I am uncertain what to say. You must wish something in return, certainly.
Oh, what the hell?
I have never received a gift. Not one that did not also come with a price attached. Perhaps there is a price to pay yet, hmm? If so, 'tis deserved. Thank you. Truly.
Oh. Anyway. Didn't realize that would happen, but hey, cool. Hey, Shale, here, have another shiny rock.
Very nice indeed.
Ah, portrait. I should have given that. I had so much booze. Anyway. See, that requires going to the deep roads. This is leaving. This is going to the proving grounds. This is going to the deep roads. This is the thing. This is the thing. Alright, I'm calling it a little early because everything else is like... Because I... kinda... Everything else, basically either is generally like, yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into, I'm gonna have to pick a side, and I'm not 100% sure which one I'm gonna pick. Cause, well, yeah, this gets into why Orzammar is kind of my favorite part, why I feel like Orzammar is the best written part of the game, because because this game was advertised, Dragon Age was advertised as this dark fantasy world, and so often in this game it's just been like, okay, well, yeah, we add moral complexity to stuff by basically saying like, yeah, here's an easy option. It's either things like, okay, here's the easy option or the not easy option, and it's like, well, clearly the good option is the not easy one, so yeah, I'm gonna do that instead. Like, gee, why would I kill, like, the, the moral complexity is not that great. Like the Circle Tower, it's like, okay, instead of showing like, hey, here's like actual complexity in the relationship between the mages and Templars, it's mostly like, no, the Templars are kind of violent and dangerous, and the mages, instead of like the solution to make the mages seem less the obvious oppressed group is, yeah, okay, yeah, they have a weird tendency to fall back on blood magic, which kind of justifies the whole treatment by Templars, but it's like, maybe if the Templars weren't so horrible, they wouldn't feel the need to do that in the first place. But hey, and the elves and werewolves did a better job with it, where it's like, okay, the werewolves are legitimately cursed, and that's bad, and yeah, but the elves are being attacked, and that's not good either, and it's like, oh, but there is a solution, there is a best option. Okay, we can help the werewolves and help the elves, and not slaughter all the elves. There's a solution here that sees everybody happy. Orzammar, there's no third option. It's either, okay, we go with Harrowmont or we go with Balin. The thing is, we kind of got a little hints of this. Like, okay, Harrowmont seems to be like the good, honorable, straight shooter, decent guy. And Balin is the manipulative, political, scheming guy one. And it seems like a fairly easy choice. We should probably go with Harrowmont, especially because he's maybe kind of the actual designated heir, and Balin probably killed his siblings to get in line to up his place to become the only son of his father. But this is kind of getting into spoiler territory. Thing is, Harrowmont is the conservative option. He's the traditionalist. He's the guy who's not going to change things, whereas Balin is. He is the guy who will change things. He's the guy who will maybe actually, like, we see, like, yeah, okay, up in like the Diamond Quarter, it's like, oh yeah, well, we have to follow traditions and whatnot, but then we get down into Dust Town, and it's like, okay, we see, like, right, we have a literal underclass that is just treated like crap, and the system isn't going to fix it. The system has no interest in fixing it. Harrowmont is the maintain the system option. So it's like, if Harrowmont becomes king, then nothing changes. And this situation is like, well, having nothing change means it's not going to get better. It cannot get any better. If things don't change, then that's it. Like, the dwarves as a people are not doing well, and following the we're following the same. It's the you're repeating the same action over and over again, expecting different results, and it's just not, and it's never going to work. It's never going to work. But I don't know. I do know that if we go with Balin, well, long term after the game's like, oh well, Balin actually kind of made things better for people who really needed to make things better. Whereas I'm pretty sure if you go with Harrowmont, things kind of just stay the same and or get worse for dwarves. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but anyway, that's it for me this week. We'll try and decide who to side with next week, I guess. So, those will be up hopefully Sunday on YouTube, which once again is over here. You can catch this. You can catch all the previous streams. You can catch streams of some of my other games and whatnot, and all my future stuff. So, but all right. Until then, I'm gonna, yeah. All right. I'll see you.